while the case is still together like this, it's usually a good idea to break any of the output shaft nuts that you plan on taking off free now. So the way in which you do that is to, okay, you've got to get all the selectors to the same place, and then you actually need to, this is a little bit too big. Screwdrivers. So you need to actually lock 2 shift selectors in place, because that pretty much locks this whole thing up from being able to move. If the 2 gear shafts, if 2 selectors are locked, then the gear shafts can't turn because there are 2 different sets of gears engaged that are locking them. So this is pretty much the only time that you can actually break free these nuts. Now, this lower nut down here is interesting. It's like a spanner nut that was put on that before I got this transmission. If you look, you can actually see that this has been brazed on, or this, so that it will never spin off again, which is good, but at the same time, it's kind of restricting. And for the purposes of this, I'm going to do my best not to remove that nut. Last time I rebuilt this transmission, I did not remove that nut, so I'm going to do my best not to this time. I'm trying to remember, I think when I installed this nut, I may have installed it with red Loctite, which means that it does have to be heated. So I'm just trying to heat this nut up so that I can try to break the red Loctite free that I put on the last time I rebuilt this transmission. So that's essentially what's happening here. I can't seem to locate my my half-inch drive to 3/4 inch adapter, so I'm just going to see if I can get this to break free using this spanner wrench that I have here. So it looks like it's coming free. You do want to note that this nut usually has a location where you dimple the nut. You can see there, I already did use this to remove or push back out where it had been dimpled in before, so it's essentially a do-it-yourself impact wrench. It's just quite hot. So, but red Loctite like that, pretty much the only way to release it is with heat. So, but at the same time, if you're looking for a way to, and you don't, to keep your output shaft nut from not coming off, red Loctite's probably the best way to go. And in the future, if you ever need to take it off, you just have to go through this process. So, yeah, you can see even in the threads the red Loctite. It forms just this incredible bond between the 2 mating threads. I'm sure this is quite hot. Okay, put that in the box. Pin here. Hardware. Okay. So this whole assembly, you pretty much, it's kind of hot. You want it to come off together, but I'm going to let that cool for a little bit. And while I do that, I'm going to start working on the bell housing. Put these back where they belong, in neutral. There it is. There they are. That's how you know they're neutrals, when the the slider can slide through them like that. So, don't need the big sockets and wrenches at the moment. Everything on this end is 17 millimeter. Put off to the side for now. So you pretty much got all these bolts around the inside here, and then you've got these 4 on the bottom here, and they're all 17 millimeters. So you just gotta start breaking them free one by one. So get the impact. Let's see, 17. It is always kind of a good idea to not remove all of one area at once, just so that you maintain some pressure all the way around. It's a lot more important as you're tightening than when you're loosening, but still something to consider. This one I must have been short on bolts, so I had to grab that 12.9 grade socket head bolt, which means I gotta switch over to that. Oh, upside down. Same thing as before. Bellhousing's free now. I always like a rubber mallet, but some people like dead blows and other things, just personal preference. Try to stay away from metal mallets just so that you don't damage any of the aluminum, cast aluminum. For anyone curious, the reason why this is modified like that is for the LS1 engine in my car. The starter has to be on the opposite side, so most transmissions won't look like that. See where I sealed that before? We're going down that road again soon. Under there. I'm sure this is just leaking oil like crazy. See that coupler in there? This has a lot more slop in it than most original ones do, just because usually the original ones, the couplers are rusted together so much that it takes just a heck of an effort to get them out. Also, on the original couplers on the clutch side, the coupler has a slight, like a 1 degree angle to it so that the spline fit is a press, whereas on this one they're straight. This is the input shaft coupler that Toby Peterson used to produce. So you can see the reverse switch that I already took out. So this is just about cool enough to work with. So I'll keep working on getting this apart. Okay, so it's good to take this whole assembly apart together, especially if you're not completely sure what all of this is. I mean, essentially this is your entire 5th gear assembly, but you've got some small parts in here. This is just a big washer, but then you've got these needle roller bearings that roll on this sleeve that goes on 5th gear here, and inside this is the 5th gear dog gear. Then this is your synchro. This is your sliding coupler. In here is a spring that helps keep the gear locked in when it's shifted to that one. And then this is your main sliding gear, or your main gear that attaches to the sliding hub. So make sure I put that back in right. Synchro's in really good shape. That's good. Pulled one apart that was 5th gear synchro, was just completely torn up, which is a shame because getting synchros for this transmission is not easy. So put this in here. A lot of times I actually like to put a zip tie around all this stuff too, just to keep it together, but I think for now I'm just going to put it in this box like that. 5th gear selector fork, don't want to lose that. And then you've got this big thrust washer here, which I'm not sure I can get off at this moment, but